What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Mika Chanel, back with another edition of Mika Chanel is Just Saying. Tonight we're talking about The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season number 6, reunion part 2, okay? We're one episode away from the full and final end of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Can I move my light over a little bit? Uh-oh. I just knocked my light over. Okay, I'm just gonna set it right there. All right. Anyways, you guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe right now, okay? Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. All right? Thank you. Anyway, so we open this second part of the reunion off exactly where the first reunion left off, with Lisa Rinna and Lisa Vanderpump going back and forth about whether or not Lisa Vanderpump called Lisa Rinna and encourage her to use the whole Munchausen angle in her storyline or whatever. And, you know, Yolanda had walked off. Erica followed her. Yolanda just was like, you know, I don't want them to see me cry. You know, I just don't want them to see it. So that's why she said she got up and walked off. Erica comes back and is like, you know, Yolanda just needs a moment or whatever. But the Lisas are still going at it. Lisa Rinna is just really swearing up and down that Lisa Vanderpump put her up to it. But in my opinion, Lisa Rinna does not seem like the type of person that falls, that goes along with the peer pressure, that she's like, you know, not like she was acting helpless, but just that, you know, she could be easily manipulated. I honestly don't see Lisa Rinna as being that type of person. I think that Lisa Rinna wanted to say what she wanted to say because she wanted to get it out there. Like she started talking, she was like on Kim, you know, when she first came on, you know, when the season first aired, she was talking about the whole Kim drama, and then she moved on to the whole Yolanda drama. And I feel like it's just because she doesn't have anything else going on, and so she just wanted to have something to talk about. That's my opinion about, you know, the whole thing with Lisa. I mean, Lisa Vanderpump and Kyle and everybody else, you know, were saying that they weren't sure. They weren't sure, you know, what was going on with Yolanda. But Lisa Rinna was definitely the most vocal. So I just don't understand why now she's putting it on Lisa Vanderpump. And Andy even calls her out on it a little later. We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so then Yolanda comes back. And when Yolanda comes back, Andy asked her, like, so what do you think? You know, who is it? Who said it? Who do you think said it? Which Lisa do you think said it? First, Yolanda says that she's confused, right? But then she turns to Lisa Vanderpump and says that, you know, that she feels like Lisa Vanderpump is manipulative and that she says things and, you know, she kind of like tries to put things out there and try to be very controlling or whatever. So I'm like, okay, so you're not confused. You believe Lisa Rinna, and you're saying that you're against, that you don't believe what Lisa Vanderpump is saying. And then that's basically what Andy said too. Like, okay, so you're saying that you don't believe Lisa Vanderpump. And she's like, I still feel confused. And I'm like, Yolanda, just say it. You know, you're basically saying it, you know, in saying that you feel confused, but then you turn to Lisa Vanderpump. You don't say anything to Lisa Rinna. So clearly you feel Lisa Vanderpump is the culprit of the whole situation or whatever. You know, it is what it is. I don't know. You know, I don't think that Lisa Vanderpump coerced Lisa Rinna into doing anything. I think that they may have been talking about the whole situation on the phone, like Lisa Rinna said. And Lisa Vanderpump, you know, was like, oh, wow, you know, you should tell the other girls or whatever. You know, maybe something like that. But I don't think she was just on Lisa Rinna and calling her back to back to back the 10 times that Lisa Rinna said she called, you know, and saying, oh, you need to talk about this. You have to talk about this. You better talk about this. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't really think that was the whole case. And then, you know, they move on and start talking about the fact that, that Lisa Vanderpump, Muhammad isn't really talking to Lisa Vanderpump because of the whole situation, because you know how they were questioning Lisa Vanderpump about, well, what does Muhammad say about the kids and their Lyme disease? Because, you know, they were like all shocked to hear that Bella and Anwar, Yolanda's kids, had Lyme disease as well. And, you know, Yolanda was like, well, no, Muhammad said that they don't have it or whatever. So I guess Muhammad, you know, was a little upset for some reason. And I guess he just didn't want that information out there. So Lisa Vanderpump said that they weren't speaking for a while, but he's, turning around, and they've been friends for a long time, and this was just a little bump in the road, and he says that he's, not upset anymore or whatever. And then all of a sudden Yolanda starts crying because she says that they don't, if they were there with her at the clinic and going through everything, and they would see like how the other parents, how other people are and dealing with the disease, that they wouldn't be so judgmental of her and all of that. And then of course, all of the girls start trying to rally around her. Lisa Rinna gets up off her couch, comes over to the other couch, and, she just has to be in the mix. She's trying to keep that diamond, y'all. She want to be on this show, you know what I'm saying? So she, gets up, comes over to the couch, and he decides to take a break. Everybody gets up off the couches and goes to wherever they go to on their break. And Lisa Rinna is still sitting there with Yolanda, like, I'm so sorry about everything. I just want us to start over, whatever. And I do believe that she probably is sorry. But at the same time, I believe that she was, all the things that she said, I think she felt at that moment. And I think she also knew that she didn't have much going on. Like I said, it's just a storyline for her. And that's how I feel. I don't know if I'm going to ever be able to change it. So then after the commercial break, they bring out Kim Richards, you guys. And I wasn't really feeling the fact that Kim was going to be on the reunion show, but it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be this whole woe is me Kim session or whatever, but it really wasn't like that. Andy gives her his condolences about, her ex-husband Monty. You remember she was taking care of him. He was sick with cancer. He actually passed away from cancer, and I think that was her first husband and her oldest daughter's father. And, Kim's like, that was like her best friend she ever had in the world, and all of that. And then Andy asks her about her recovery, and she says that she's still in recovery, but she doesn't want to really discuss it. She doesn't want to put it out there anymore. She thought that by her putting it out there before that she was helping people, but she realizes that she was only hurting herself. And that's like that's just the process that you have to go through when you're in recovery. You're not supposed to be like, so not so open, but just so out there. And you're not supposed to, there's all kind of rules about how to stay sober or whatever. So she's saying she doesn't really want to talk about it. She'd rather keep it to herself. She says she feels very bad about the stress that she put on her family, and then at how times it was probably hard for Kyle and then the rest of her family to love her. And Kyle was trying to say, like, no, that's not true. It's not that I didn't love you. And then here goes Yolanda butting in. And I'm like, Yolanda, you don't need to butt in. This is family. Let them speak amongst themselves, And Yolanda's like, oh, this is how she feels, though. But Kyle is like, no, it's not that I didn't love you. You can love someone and not like them in that moment, which is true. You can. I feel like you can love someone and truly care about them, but not like their actions and not like the choices that they're making and things like that. So, Kyle spoke on that, and Kim really seemed to be, remorseful and just, trying to get herself together. And Andy asks her if what went down at Target and the whole thing about her getting arrested for stealing and all that. And of course she uses the Hollywood excuse. I can't talk about that because this is an ongoing investigation. I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. If I was innocent of some bullshit, I'm going to talk about it. All right. I don't even know, but whatever. She didn't want to talk about it. And then here Lisa Rinna talking about she only has good thoughts and good hopes and high hopes for Kim and things, and hopes that she gets better or whatever. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, all right, Lisa Rinna, really? Like, you didn't want to have anything to do with Kim. And they, Andy, I can't remember if it was Andy or someone questioned her and was like, well, why were you so harsh about Kim this season? Kim wasn't even on the show this season, but yet you were very harsh in your criticism of her. And Lisa Rinna's like, that's how I felt at the time, but I was very angry. and I'm not anymore, and I really just have the best feelings, and not the best feelings, but I just really wish the best for Kim, you know. And Andy's looking at her side eye like, yeah, you just some bullshit. Now, why don't you just tell the truth? And then he calls her out, and he's like, well, you did say to Yolanda, or about Yolanda, that you were very, what did she say? That you were very, what did she say? Enraged that Yolanda was still friends with Kim or whatever. And then Lisa's like, you know what? No, I said that because I was, you know, in the moment, maybe that's how I felt, but I don't feel that. It was just a very strong word. I shouldn't have used it. And he's like, hold up. You say a lot of things, and then you backpedal and then try and say you don't mean it. And I'm just sitting here like, thank you, Andy. Thank you for pointing that out. And then, like, Eileen tries to jump in and is like, you know, well, it's just like, you know, all the crazy things that Kim was doing. Like, what went down at my house that night that they were at the house. Remember, they had poker night at her house, and Eileen's husband was trying to teach them how to play poker because, you know, that's what he does professionally. And, you know, and then Kim's like, you know, Eileen, you always try to jump in every time Lisa Rinna says something, then you try to back her up or whatever. Why don't you just shut the hell up? Basically is what Kim was trying to tell her. And I'm just like, Eileen, this ain't even your lane right now, okay? You stay out of it. Your girl always putting her foot in her mouth, and she needs to, you know, own up to it and stop trying to backtrack all the time. And Lisa Rinna, I'm talking about, you know, stop trying to backtrack all the time and say you don't mean what you mean. Just like you said, you feel like Yolanda is more manipulative than Lisa Vanderpump. Just like you said that you were enraged that she was friends with Kim, and you were just so upset about her going, you know, like, Lisa Rinna, cut it with the bullshit. We all know that you wanted a storyline, and you were reaching for whatever story that would make yourself feel relevant on this show, okay? That is all it is. You were just reaching for a storyline, whether it be with Kim or whether it be with Yolanda, okay? And that's pretty much, you know, the end of it. But like I said, you know, Andy called her out on it, and I was glad to say that that Andy called her out on it. And that was pretty much the end of Kim's little segment. You know, it wasn't long. It was just a little short little thing. They, you know, seeing how Kim was doing or whatever. She seems to be doing okay. I don't know. You never can really tell with Kim. So hopefully she is getting herself together. And I agree that she does not need to be on this show. Like, excuse me, like she said, you know, she shouldn't have been, you know, on the show, and she shouldn't have been, you know, broadcasting, you know, her sobriety and things like that. It's a process, and she needs to go through that process and hopefully heal herself. And I hope that, you know, she's still on the right track. You know, I really do, because addiction, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with it. I know I have in my family, and it's something that you can't hide. I mean, once like, people can see it. It's not like, you know, you may think you're hiding it, but you're really not hiding it, and you really need to work on yourself. And being on a show like this, I don't really feel like you can work on yourself, because you have to be in the middle of what's going on, and you can't really work on yourself and get yourself together if you really have a strong problem like that. And that's why I feel like it's good that she's not on the show. I hope she does not return next season. I've heard rumors, and people have told me in my comments and in other areas of, you know, other people have told me in other ways too, that she's possibly coming back next season. I really, really, really hope she doesn't. And if she does come back to the show next season, I really hope she can handle it. I really hope that she is strong enough to deal with, you know, everything. So anyways, so let's move on. They talk a little bit about the parties that the ladies had this season. They talk about Kyle's barbecue that wasn't really a barbecue. Like, everybody kept knocking on the door. Kyle opened the door in her long, you know, dress or whatever. And they're like, I thought you said barbecue. I thought you said barbecue. Like, everybody that came over was like, I thought you said barbecue. Everybody except for motherfucking Faye Resnick, I guess she already knew that when Kyle said barbecue, she really didn't mean barbecue in the dressing your finest, okay? But everybody else was like, I thought you meant barbecue. Kyle's like, I will never say barbecue again. When I think of barbecue, I just think of everybody eating outside and having a good time. So I will never say the word barbecue again, all right? And then they talk about, you know, Erica's barbecue that she had at her house and all her dancers that she had around. It was twerking it on the pool, all the guys and stuff. And it seemed like a lot of fun though. And then they talk about the whole Moulin Rouge party and who looked like the biggest hooker. Nobody admitted to who, nobody wanted to say who looked like the biggest hooker or whatever. Erica's like, I take myself out of this contest because I look like a hooker every day. I'm like, girl, at least you own it, all right? And it ain't nothing wrong with it either, because if you got it, flown it. That's what I say. Flown it until this shit falls down and you can't flown it no more, all right? Do what you do. I ain't mad at you, okay? As long as you don't look all wrinkly and bad and you trying to wear halter tops and your belly's all wrinkled up and, but if it looks good, then I don't care how old you are. Just wear that shit. That's what I think. Hell, life's too short to be worried about, you know what I'm saying, what everybody else is thinking about. But, if you look like an old granny, and, you can be a grandma and not look like an old granny. But if you look like an old granny, you may need to cover up a little bit, but you can still be sexy though, all right? Anyways, moving on. My God, do we have to move on? Because you know what they talked about next was motherfucking Eileen and this whole thing she had with Lisa Vanderpump about Lisa Vanderpump asking her about her affair. Now, my thing is, I don't know why Eileen was so upset because, maybe she was upset because when she brought it up, they were in public. That's the only thing I can see that Eileen would be upset about, because Eileen actually talked about it last season, that's how her and her husband got together. So if people have questions about it, maybe they are kind of, maybe it is something that's personal, but you're on this show and, somebody like Lisa Vanderpump that has been in this reality realm for so long, they know you need to ask the personal questions because that's what people want to hear, okay? So don't get upset about it. Like, outside of the fact that they were in a public setting when Lisa asked her about it, I don't know why she's so upset. She says that she's upset because when she finally did confront Lisa about it, Lisa didn't seem to understand why she was mad. She didn't seem very remorseful or whatever. And Eileen, like we said, throughout the season, Eileen just felt like she was not getting the apology that she wanted. And then she says that she feels like Lisa did it on purpose. And I'm like, did what on purpose? Asked you a question it wasn't like it was a big secret. You talked about it last season. We wouldn't know. I would have known because maybe some people that really keep up with Eileen Davidson would have known. I didn't know that she started an affair with her husband and that's how they, got together and got married or whatever. Like, I would have known that if she had never said it on the show. So, you put it out there. So why can't people ask questions about it, when did the affair start? Hell, I want to know too. When is that how the affair started? Because he was working on the show. Like, what happened? Y'all met each other at Starbucks? How did it start? It's not like, she's, she had an affair with some man and it was like a big scandal. And then, she's not, even with that man now. And that man is still with the woman that he had the affair with. And then somebody's asking her about it. No. Like, they're married, it's like 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever years. And, I want to know. So I just really don't understand. I just feel like Eileen, I think what it is that when Eileen confronted Lisa Vanderpump about it and told her, that she basically didn't appreciate it, I feel like she just didn't like Lisa's response. And that is what really upset her, more so than Lisa asking the question at all, and she says that she didn't trust Lisa and she just felt like Lisa's manipulative or whatever and she did it on purpose. And like I said, I just feel like had Lisa just said, well, I'm sorry, instead of saying, well, I'm sorry for asking too many questions, if she had just taken a different approach with her apology from the beginning, and then with Eileen seeing her being coached by Kyle on how to apologize when they were in Dubai, I think that maybe Eileen could have moved on. But at the same time, I'm not really sure, because Eileen seems the type that would dwell on something forever. Okay? Like a girl on Love and Hip Hop said, forever. Anyways, I don't know, y'all, but I'm glad they didn't really dwell on it all too long or whatever. Andy was like, why didn't you say something right when Lisa asked you? Why didn't you say, I don't want to talk about this. This is inappropriate or whatever. And Eileen's like, I 100% should have said something then, but I just didn't. And I feel like Lisa Rinna even said, I told her that if you feel this way, you need to ask, you need to talk to Lisa about it. So maybe if Lisa Rinna hadn't given her the okay to even confront Lisa Vanderpump, then Eileen probably would have just held it in and just held a grudge for the whole season or whatever. She's so passive aggressive and it's very fucking annoying. Okay. And then I guess Lisa Vanderpump had brought up the fact that, Eileen brought up, when they were at dinner, that she had been in an abusive relationship. So Lisa Vanderpump is like, I don't understand what the difference is of talking about your affair or talking about being abused, even though I do see the difference, but Lisa Vanderpump's like, she didn't feel like there was a difference. And then that's when they brought up, Lisa Vanderpump in her blog saying that she had been abused, and they started talking about that. And Lisa, got very emotional about it because, like I said a million times before, Lisa likes to live in this happy bubble. She doesn't really like to get too deep. She doesn't like to get really in touch with her feelings that often, at least not in public. I don't know what she does at home with her husband and her family, but in public and on TV, she doesn't like that to get too deep. And I feel like that's probably how she is in her everyday life. She just likes to sweep things under the rug, like they were saying about Kyle and Kim, and so, Lisa starts to get emotional. She starts to cry a little bit, and she just says, she was 19, the relationship lasted for a long time, and he threatened her, and he beat up on her or whatever. And then it went off. So we don't know. I don't know if we're going to get the rest of the story next week or if that's just the end of it or whatever. Honestly, I don't really need to hear the rest of the story. To be honest, it was a long time ago. She clearly doesn't really want to talk about it, so let's not make her talk about it. Just like, clearly Eileen just wanted to have something on her, because that's why she kept bringing it up. Because if she was really uncomfortable, I would think she would just not talk about it anymore. Because she sees Lisa Vanderpump isn't talking about it anymore, so I would think she wouldn't want to talk about it anymore if she didn't really want that topic brought up, so yeah. I'm glad that's over, you guys. I'm really happy. I hope they never bring up the whole Lisa Vanderpump and Eileen little drama bullshit again. And this reunion special, it was okay. I mean, it goes along with how the season is. It's not overly dramatic, and it's not, it's not too like a snooze fest, but at the same time, it's not like nobody's coming throwing blows or anything like that, which is good. Nobody's bitches and hoes or anything like that, which I like, so, they just got their feelings out, and I feel like people were able to express themselves as much as they wanted to express themselves. And I just want to hear a little bit more from Catherine. I hope that we hear a little bit more. I did see in the preview for next week that Catherine and Erica seem like they might have a little tiff or whatever, probably about the whole thing about Catherine, being the fake friend, how she wanted to be her friend and then went back and told what she said. So I'm hoping that they get to that, because I really want to see more of, Catherine. I want to hear what she has to say, because I like her a little bit. And I think she got a little spunk. So, oh, yeah. So when they were talking about the barbecues, Lisa Rinna's like, well, next year I'm going to have a real barbecue and I'm taking orders now. Girl, I hope you're not even on this show next year, okay? If you come back, I hope it's just a friend to the damn show. And I hope that we don't have to just, I don't want you to come back, Lisa Rinna, honestly. So, I mean, you can have your barbecue some other time. All right, on another show. Anyways, you guys, I don't know. That was really it for this the second round of the reunion. Not too overly dramatic, like I said, but it was still interesting. It held my attention for the whole hour. And, thank you to all of you guys that check for me and ask where my blogs are, you guys. I told you I'm going to start making sure that I get back on schedule and having the blogs up within 24 hours of the show airing. And I am going to start blogging about the Real Housewives of Dallas. It just takes me a couple of episodes to get used to the ladies and their names and what they look like, because especially with Dallas, it's like, oh my God, it's like blonde hair, you know, like everybody kind of, I don't know. I just had to get used to the names with the faces so that I can remember what each person does. But I definitely will be vlogging about the episode that came on Monday night. I know I probably will do it late, but then next week I'll get on a schedule with the Real Housewives of Dallas. I think I'm gonna like them, you guys. I really do. But then again, I'm a housewife junkie, so I don't know what to say about that. Anyways, until next time, you guys, please stay real, stay safe, and stay tuned to Mika Chanel is just saying. Bye-bye.